And there's a couple different sections that we're going to go through in the next 20 minutes or so. So the basic question, I guess, is what is it? What is Smart Exchange? And it's another progression to what's called cloud-based resources. So instead of having a developer like Smart update your software with a download of materials which you may or may not want, they're looking to put more of the onus on, I think, the end user to go and collect information from a resource they put online. So you're choosing very specific materials. Hi, Candace. We just started. And so Smart Technologies created this website that gives you access to Smart Lesson activities, gallery collections, images, videos, manipulatives, response questions. If you have what used to be called Centios, they're now called Smart Response or Responders, and community and training resources. So how do you get to this resource? Well, you can get to the resource in two ways. You can either go to your gallery tab, so you've opened Smart Notebook, and you've clicked off on the gallery tab, which is usually the second one below, and you've clicked on Smart Exchange, a little globe there, icon, and you can click on Visit Smart Exchange, or you can go right to, if you're going to be looking for something specific, you can either go search or you can click on standards aligned. So in other words, curriculum specific materials. But I would suggest if it's your first time going to Smart Exchange, just click on this link. When you click on it, it's going to open your web browser and you're going to end up seeing a page just like this. So one of two ways. What do you need in order to access this? Well, if you're going to access it either way, you need to have a web browser and you need to have a Smart Notebook. Those are the two ways that you can access. If you're at home on a computer that doesn't have a Smart Notebook, then you're fine just by going to the website and looking at the materials there. So it's not dependent on having Smart Notebook. That's just one way you can access it. And what else do you need? Well, you need to be able to create an account with Smart Exchange. It's free. It's just a matter of, and it's very quick. It's just entering an email address, like your work email address, and picking a password and writing that down somewhere so that if you're like me with many, many passwords and usernames, when you need to log in, it's not an onerous task. So what I'm going to do is we're going to quickly go through each of the sections and kind of demo some of the features, and that I'm hoping will give you a pretty good orientation. So if you want to do some exploring on your own, which I would highly recommend, you would have like a working knowledge of the site. So let's start with going to the web browser. So I've loaded some pages ahead of time. In my web browser, so we just pull it up. So, okay, so we're on the live site now. It's no longer the screenshot that was in Smart Notebook. And at first, it kind of can look a little overwhelming, but really, if you focus on the navigation bar up here, it outlines everything that you have access to on the site. So we have the ability to search for resources, which we can do from this front page as well. And you can search by a variety of means. You can search by subject matter. You can see here I was looking earlier at some social studies materials. You can click on the tab. These are all tabs here. You can search by grade level, and you can search by a specific file type. Now I find this is when we look at the actual search page, you'll see where this will be helpful. I don't think it's very helpful right off the start. Usually it's by subject or by grade. And what they've done here on this first panel is they show you what the top downloads, so what are people really interested in the Smart Exchange community, what objects or lessons or activities are people recommending. That's another thing that you can do within Smart Exchange is you can recommend by kind of like, if you think of it like as Facebook, you can like certain pages or sites. You can do the same thing here. You can like certain activities to let other educators know that you think is a valuable resource. And then if you scroll down, they will give you some new content that has been published by authors outside of the Smart Exchange. So I'm just going to scroll back up to the top. So I thought what we could do is go into the search area. And again, when we click on search, it's going to load a new page up that is very similar to the one we were on. It's just taking those tabs that we had running horizontally, and we have this vertical panel, and we have the ability to narrow our search results using these tools, which were in a tab on the other page. So I can go in here and I can type in, let's see, I'm going to type in whole numbers. And I'm going to try to narrow it down. So I'm looking for whole numbers in the subject of mathematics, and I'm looking for, let's say, grade 2. And I'm registered as myself. I've signed into the site. And I've chosen English Canada as being my interface, and it's already picked that out. But I could search from other countries as well, and I can click Go, and my page is going to reload, and it's now going to show me a variety of lessons that deal with my search term, and I can further drill down the search content by looking at the narrowing of results. Now, Smart Notebook Math Tools is something that's kind of like a paid add-on, so I'm not going to go with that, and I can just click on Smart Notebook Lessons, and it's going to filter the results. And now all these items that I see are lessons that are already completed, and some are created by Smart Notebook, and some are created by fellow educators and have been uploaded to the site. We can do one of two things. We can preview a file, and what a preview is when you click on it, it's basically taking pictures of each of the pages that you can quickly kind of scroll through and get an idea before you decide to download the item to see if it's something that you might be interested in. And you can also see how many times this item has been downloaded and how many people have given it kind of a check mark or a thumbs up or a like, if you're thinking in Facebook terms. And then we can download that item. And it would download it to your computer, where you can then open it up in Smart Notebook, and then you can manipulate that file. So if it's kind of close to what you want, you can go in and you can move things around, you can add slides, you can add content, you can delete stuff on pages. Sometimes going this route to start a lesson can often be a time saver than starting something totally from scratch. And I'm going to show you later on what one of the lessons that I've downloaded kind of ahead of time looks like. So that's basically one way that you can search for content. And you can kind of click through. It's looking here based on your search terms. It's telling you this is your best match. And you can filter your results. Think of this as kind of like when you're in Excel and a spreadsheet filtering. You can filter it by what is the newest content that's been added, what's received the most downloads, or what's been most recommended. Now, where I sometimes go to start off is I go to the Standards Align section. And this is just another way of searching the content. And I'm going to go, and you have to pick in a certain order here. You have to pick the standard first. So if you click on that chevron, it activates the drop-down menu. And I'm going to scroll down to New Brunswick Curriculum. And just for my own experience, I taught grade 5, so I click grade 5. And then I can click on, let's say, social studies. And I can click view. And what it does now is it's taken the CAMET Foundation document and it's listed the curriculum outcomes. And every place you see view resources, you can click on, and it's going to show you what lessons are already created that match that outcome. And again, let you know how many times it's been downloaded and it's thumbs up or not. And it lets you know who's submitted the document, and you can actually click on that name, and it will show you, if you like this lesson, you can click on that name, and it will show you all the lessons that particular person has created. So it might assist you in searching that way. So again, you can click to preview and take a look through the document and see if it's something that you're interested in. And this one here says it's 5 of 20, so this is a 20-slide document. And then to hide the resources, you just left-click again. So not every section obviously has view resources, but it's kind of just a matter of going through and exploring. So that's another way. So, and from what I can tell, I'm just looking at some of my notes here, that you can search, you just don't have to search the Canadian resources. Sometimes it's, again, these are all outlined by New Brunswick curriculum, but within the, you can change up here what country you're located in, and then it changes what resources that you can see here. And sometimes you can take those resources and modify them to fit a Canadian standard. And you can go up from kindergarten to grade 12 in your search. And it's mainly those 4 main sections. It looks at social studies, science, math, and language arts. However, there are some in there that can fall into some other areas like health. Okay, so far we've looked at the home page, we've looked at the search page, we've looked at the standards aligned search page, and there are 3 other tabs. Now the community section has 2 subsections. So when you hover over this, you left click on the chevron and it activates the drop down. And there's Connect with Teachers, and there's the Visit the Ed Compass blog. We'll go here first. Basically, Connect with Teachers is an online discussion forum of signed-in Smart Exchange members. So people like yourself, and it's focused on educators. So what this is kind of an interesting feature. Usually, typically, if I don't know an answer to something, I go right to Google. But this is a very focused area that it's just dealing with smart products. And earlier I was looking at this and I was just going through. So when we're looking here, all forums, it's kind of like these are discussion threads that are broken into subtopics. So what I did is I scrolled down and I saw the word resources. That kind of caught my eye. And it's resources for educators. And there's a variety of subtopics in here as well, but I was just exploring, and I saw that there were a lot of posts in here, so I thought, okay, there's probably some interesting information. So what I did is I clicked on for educators. The page reloads, and it says here again for educators, and there's a couple of different forums here that you can look into. And then I looked down here and I was looking at some topics that people were posting. And I think what I was just kind of glancing through them, and this says make an object disappear under another on a page. And I thought, okay, well, I'll see what this looks like. So basically what we're looking at is a discussion thread where this individual initiated the conversation by posting a question to the community, and these are the responses by community members. And what this person was looking for was a way to create a page where there was a kind of like a hockey goalie on the page, and there were pucks at the bottom of the page with students' names attached to them. And he was looking for a way to basically create like a voting system where students could vote on who was a good sport for that day by throwing the names of a puck with the student's name into the goal. And at the end of the day, he would count up how many pucks each person had to see who was voted the best sport for the day. And people are giving their sort of opinion and advice on how he could achieve that. And it actually works out that you can't achieve what he was trying to do, you can't achieve by manipulating the images. But someone suggested here that there was a tool in the gallery that was a voting tool that he might want to check out, and it might do a similar thing that he's looking to do. Maybe just not in the graphic way, but it would tabulate, basically it would tabulate based on student name, where students could come up and use a clicker. So again, this might be a place to come. You can search the conversation, so you could type in a problem you're having and see if someone else has had the similar problem. You can read the discussion threads and see if it's been answered or not. So that's what the community section and Connect with Teachers is all about. Visit the EdCompass blog. When you click on this, it's going to open another site. So we're now outside of the Smart Exchange system. And this used to be a mail out that they used to send, and now it's just done electronically. And on this site, basically, you can subscribe to updates on the EdCompass blog. And you'll see just not sort of articles related to new technology that's coming out that SMART produces, but they also, I was scanning through the documents here, and there's some videos, there's some stories of other teachers' experiences with SMART, ways that they're bringing other technologies into the classroom. And you can go through the archive, back archive as well of entries. And they also have a searchable tab index here. So if you're interested in Smart Document Camera, here are all the articles that have been written about Smart Document Cameras. Or the Exemplary Educator Program is right here. So that's something that, again, and you can just subscribe by clicking here, and you'll get an update every so often via email. So let's go back to our start page here. So we're in the Smart Exchange. We looked at the community section. So we looked at the Connect with Teachers. So the discussion forum, the EdCompass blog, which really, if you subscribe to it, you would never have to visit again. It's going to send you information. There's the training section, which again is a link to another site maintained by SMART. And that is something that I actually use in a lot of my PD. And there are some self-paced tutorials, some PDF documents, and some videos that you can go, and you can actually choose what SMART product that you want to have receive training in, and you can kind of go through these online self-paced tutorials. So once it loads up, you'll see here training by product, and there's these little arrows that you can kind of maneuver through. So there's Smart Notebook. There's the Interactive Classroom Suite. There's a Smart Responders, so you can click on that, and it's going to load up a page that shows you the materials that you can access for training. So here's one on delivering an assessment, creating assessments, getting started with Smart Response. So, and you can see here by the different icons, sometimes they offer free training that's online, and sometimes it's based like a PDF-based document. Here it's a tutorial, so it's something that you do online in your browser. So that's, again, and we don't have time to go through all the specifics of the training site, but that's something that I would highly recommend to take some time to look through. There's a specific training for educator section here. And there's some free resources. So if you search the free resources, these are those short YouTube-based ones and PDFs. So you can, let's see, so Smart Notebook Express. So again, what that is, if you want to learn more, I'll kind of just quickly tell you what it is. if you have students who don't have the ability to install Smart Notebook Student Edition on their home computers, either because of, say, they have an older computer and it just won't handle having an elaborate piece of software added, they can use a web-based version of Smart Notebook that loads in their browser. They could take home on a USB stick, for example, one of your lessons as a tutorial or for practice, and they can actually load that that document into the web browser and interact with it just like they were interacting with the smartboard. And this would, again, provide you with more information on that. The student edition of Smart Notebook. Like, there's just a lot of information here. Training on what we're talking about right now is Smart Exchange. So there's lots of items in here, and some of you might not even be aware of that. Again, you could start to think about if funding comes available, what would you ask for? That would complement your existing Smart Board and Smart Notebook. So that's the training section. So in a nutshell, in the past 20 minutes, we've kind of gotten through a lot. But I think the main focus here is, and what we're going to talk about in our next session next week, is looking at, say, if you download, we're going to divide it into two pieces. One, kind of looking at some of the tricks that you can use to create interactivities for students to come up and use. Things like wipe to reveal, or using layering to hide objects or that will show when you click on them, or adding in transition effects, or recording video to do your own sort of in-house animation. We'll be looking at those, but we'll also look at how you take a lesson that, say, you download from the Smart Exchange, and how do you start to manipulate it and create it and customize it for your own use. So I kind of mentioned before, I'd show you quickly a lesson that, here's an example of a lesson that I downloaded earlier. And this one is on mixed numbers and improper fractions. And the reason I chose this is because you'll notice on some of the lessons that you search, it will say that it's a Smart Technologies created document. I always like going to those ones first. One, they're kind of easy to tell even when you look at them, because graphically they're a little bit more pleasing to the eye. But also, they're going to pack, it's basically like a sales tool. They're going to pack all the interactive elements that they can fit into that lesson to kind of showcase what the product can do. So they're great ones to kind of go and look at, well, ways that you can present information. So, and again, once you download this, you can click on any area and you can delete, you can add content, you can write on it, and you have access to any of the interactivities that they've built into the document. Right now I'm trying to click on something. So here, which of the fractions below are mixed numbers? Drag the magnifying glass to see the mixed numbers. So, and I don't know if it's going to drag or not, because I have a couple of things open. I think I'm starting to freeze my computer up. I'm not going to provoke it because I don't want to crash our session. But basically, well, it's reacting very slowly. See, as I drag this magnifying glass over, it's highlighting those which have mixed numbers. And that's an interactivity that now we can go and we can start to break down, and we will next day. We'll start to break down how did they do that. And again, you may not have thought of presenting information that way. So it's kind of a neat thing to go through these ones to kind of reverse engineer them. Another example of something that I downloaded earlier, where there's some videos that you can access. And they're quite high quality ones as well. So this one was kind of a video that I was just playing through before the session started, and you won't hear the audio. It doesn't transfer through link. But basically, this is an animated video describing ancient histories, ancient civilizations, which, if you teach grade 5, is definitely a curricular item in social studies. So there's lots of items that you can not only lessons, but these sort of manipulatives that you can download and add into your lessons from the Smart Exchange. And that we can do is when we go through our search. I'll just quickly show this, and then we should probably wrap it up because I'm notorious for going long. Let's see if I put ancient civilizations, and I'm just going to click go here. And what I did to find that is I'm going to narrow my results, and down here we see, and all these numbers beside these types are indicating how many of those items there are. So there's 20 images, there's 2 PDFs, and down here there's 14 videos that seem to match the search term ancient civilizations. So here's one on ancient Egyptian architecture, ancient Roman technology, and these were things that I kind of laugh when I see them now because I searched high and low for different videos to use in my lessons, and this is before they had this particular feature, which I would have utilized because I was searching like YouTube and things like that. So ancient Rome history. So all these videos you can download and then insert into your gallery and then pull into a page to add. I don't know. I think that's personally fabulous. So that is today. So just in case you are wondering, when this item will be up today or tomorrow, the recording of this, which if there was someone that you know that might benefit from something I said during this presentation, if you want to pass along the link to my website, that's where sessions 1 and 2 are housed now, the video, and also the user's guide, which I was sharing. And it's also in the attachments. If you look, I'll drag the window over. If you look on the link window for this session, you'll see the paperclip icon. If you click on that, you'll see the user's guide is attached there, and you can download, of course I'm going to probably freeze it up, you can download that attachment, and that's something like it's like a 100-page basically guide to everything about Smart Notebook. So eventually it will load here. There we go. So you can click on that and save it to your computer. It's also available online on my website. So if you scroll down, there's Smart Notebook session 104, 204, and next week you'll see session 304. And take a look around. There's some other hopefully interesting stuff for you there as well. Okay. Have a wonderful evening. Hopefully I will see you guys next week.